Do you have high thyroid antibodies? And you're wondering, well, what else can I do to help me send my Hashimoto's into remission? Well, this is exactly what we are going to be exploring in our video today. Ready? Let's get started. Hi there, I am Julia Thyroid and I'm here to help you create healthy hormones, healthy body and the life of your dreams completely naturally. Before we get started with our video today, remember to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell to stay up to date with our latest videos. Now, if you've got Hashimoto's thyroiditis, you probably heard two things. First thing from your regular traditional medical doctor who said, high antibodies for thyroid, no problem, everyone has them, don't worry about it. Just eat and enjoy yourself and don't even pay any attention to it. Or you've gone to an alternative healthcare practitioner or functional medicine doctor or health coach who said, wow, let's work on lowering your thyroid antibodies. And the second option is a very wise thing to do, because when you have high thyroid antibodies, that can cause damage to your thyroid. And know that an autoimmune disease is one of the top 10 leading causes of death in our world. So it's a serious condition that you want to address. And if you have Hashimoto's thyroiditis, you want to do all you can do to help you send it into remission. Now, the only reason I discovered that I had Hashimoto's thyroiditis was because I asked the doctor to check my thyroid antibodies. They were really high, and that was already over a decade into me suffering with hypothyroidism. So I had no idea that Hashimoto's can be an issue behind hypothyroidism, and I had no idea that hypothyroidism in the 90% of cases is caused by Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So if you've got hypothyroidism, you're watching this video, you're hearing about Hashimoto's for the first time, go and check your antibodies and do an ultrasound scan to make sure that you haven't got Hashimoto's. If you have, then keep watching this video. Okay, so here are the three areas you need to pay very close attention to in order to lower your Hashimoto's antibodies. Number one are trigger foods. So you might still be eating foods in your diet that are triggering your autoimmune response. They are feeding the viruses in your body. They're causing some kind of reaction where your antibodies become crazily high. Yeah, so you have inflammation in your body and your antibodies become crazily high. And what happens, and actually it happened to me as well, what happens is that when you remove those trigger foods, your antibodies will go down and you can have that false sense of, wow, I can eat whatever I want now and I can just literally go and have a party and eat all the trigger foods that I had to exclude and my body will not react to it. And then you go and test your antibodies and your antibodies are through the roof. They're too high. So know that the trigger foods that trigger your thyroid antibodies, they need to be excluded from your diet. Yes, some people will be absolutely fine with excluding them for a period of time, healing their gut, their leaky gut, and addressing all the other underlying problems, and then reintroducing those foods. But other people like myself, even if I eat a bit of grain or a bit of legumes, my antibodies will go up. So know that you have to know yourself, you have to know your body, and it could be that you have to dedicate yourself to the path of healing and restoration, and know that, and just knowing that your body reacts to certain foods, and if you eat those foods, your antibodies will go up. And in case if you're wondering, well, Julia, what are some of those trigger foods that you are talking about? Well, the list is quite long, but some of them include corn, eggs, dairy, really, really bad for Hashimoto's. They also can include grains and legumes, or certain types of grains and certain types of legumes that you might be reacting to. So these are the foods that you need to exclude if you have an autoimmune disease. So I have a question for you. Do you have Hashimoto's thyroiditis? And are you still eating some of the foods that can trigger it? Let me know in the comments section. Now, I have to point out that when it comes to trigger foods, not every single food will create a reaction in your body. Some people are perfectly fine with just excluding gluten. That's all they needed to do to balance their thyroid. While other people, like myself, need to really, really simplify their diet in order to keep their autoimmune disease asleep. And no, you do not have to go keto or paleo to help you reverse Hashimoto's thyroiditis. For over 8 years, we've helped hundreds of our clients reverse their serious chronic diseases, hormonal imbalances, Hashimoto's, autoimmune diseases, through the help of a fruit-based plant foods lifestyle that is really high in carbohydrates. It's super delicious, super simple, and at the same time, it helps you rebuild your body and rebuild your health. Okay, so the first one was to do with trigger foods. The second one is to do with viruses and pathogens and fungi that you might be experiencing in your body, you might be having in your body. So Candida, for example, can be a trigger for an autoimmune disease, for Hashimoto's. Epstein-Barr virus can be a trigger for Hashimoto's as well, and other issues with your gut and viruses in the body that you need to address. So all these things can create inflammation in your body. Then the viruses can live in certain parts of the body. They can be feeding off certain parts of your body and thriving. And especially if you're putting trigger foods into your body, viruses like them especially. And then that's going to create more inflammation. That's going to create higher antibodies. So this is why you also need to test yourself for viruses. It's not really that easy to do because some of them you might not even find, but you can sort of understand that if you've excluded foods and you still got Hashimoto's, then the next step for you is to address the viruses in your body. And you can do that through, first and foremost, changing your diet. That's the most important change. Your diet, your lifestyle, and also creating more mindfulness in your life is a very important part of your restoration, and as well as that, also including certain herbs that can help you overcome viruses and pathogens. Now, the third one, and a very important one, and that one usually takes the longest to address, is your gut health. So with the majority of people who come to us, and myself included, Hashimoto's, hypothyroidism also means compromised gut health. So you have to rebuild the health of your gut. And the health of your gut, again, will be rebuilt by you excluding certain foods that damage the health of your gut. So junk processed foods, and going low fat and going high in carbohydrates, and going with plant foods as well, because plant foods help you create good gut bacteria in the body. So they help you grow that beneficial gut bacteria like no other foods can, and there's lots of science to prove it. And you also need to cleanse your gut. So if you have candida, if you have leaky gut, if you have different, you have gut dysbiosis, for example, you need to address that. And know that even if you remove trigger foods, but you still have high Hashimoto's antibodies, then you need to address your viruses. If you still got high Hashimoto's antibodies, you need to address your gut, or better still, do it all together as one complete approach, that you will use a comprehensive functional approach to your health, so you are able to reverse your high thyroid antibodies. Balancing deficiencies is another big one. So you might well be low in iron, you might well be low in zinc, for example, you might well be low in B12, you might well be low in vitamin D, and all these aspects need to be balanced in order for you to lower your antibodies. From there, it's knowing your body, it's knowing thyself. So know thyself and move with your body versus moving against your body. So to help you with that, to help you reverse Hashimoto's and address hypothyroidism as well as other hormonal imbalances and weight issues, I've created a special free online masterclass where I will show you the 5 steps our clients use to reverse their hormonal imbalances, even after years of struggle and being on medication, and how you can apply the same steps to help you move forward as well. So the link for that is rossumhealthy.com/webinar. So I'm going to link this video to another video where I will show you why keto diet and high fat diets are not the way to go if you have hormonal imbalances. See you there.